The tremor vibrated through Ben. The ferocrete shrieked under the Xylos onslaught. Dust sifted from the flickering lights as he stitched a jagged tear in Marco's leg. The air in the converted container reeked of antiseptic and blood, a familiar, grim perfume. "Almost done, Marco," Ben murmured, his voice rough. Marco gritted his teeth, slick with sweat. "Wouldn't be walking it off without you, Doc." A bleak joke, understood by both. Ben managed a tight smile, the exhaustion etched around his eyes a stark reminder of their reality. He was the last medic. Outpost Sigma-7 was encircled, pulverized daily by the Xylos. Weeks of bombardment, dwindling supplies, the constant, gut-wrenching loss of men he knew. He secured the last stitch using sterilized strips of salvaged fabric, bandages of fading memory. Every resource was gold. Outside, the barrage intensified. The high whine of incoming Xylos fire was a death knell, followed by the earth-shattering boom. The outpost shuddered. "Close," growled Sergeant Kalin from the cot beside Marco. Shrapnel had torn through his side days ago. Ben had stabilized him, but his breaths were shallow. "It's reminding us they're here, Sarge," Ben said, forcing lightness. Kalin needed it. He checked Kalin's vitals, his brow furrowed. The oxygen was low, rationed to the drop. "Heard Delta fell," Marco said, voice low. The news hit Ben hard. Delta was closer to the Xylos lines. He'd known medics there. Now, silence. He pushed down the grief. No time. He had men needing him. "We're still here," Ben said, his voice firm, steel in its core, "and we're not falling." Not bravado, but will. He was their medic, their final defense. He had to be strong. If he broke, they all would. The alarm blared. "Breach, Sector 5!" the comms shrieked. The wounded stirred. Those who could struggled up, faces grim. Even Kalin tried to rise. "Stay down, Sarge," Ben ordered. "Marco, you too." "But, Doc..." "Your job is to heal," Ben said, meeting Marco's gaze. "Mine's to keep you alive to fight again." He grabbed his medkit, battered and worn. Dread twisted his gut. Painkillers, antibiotics, critically low. He'd been improvising for days, using scraps, fashioning splints from debris. He felt like a caveman surgeon. He reached the breach, the mangled section of wall. 2 soldiers down, their comrades firing at the insectoid Xylos swarming through. Plasma fire scorched the air, mingling with screams. Corporal Reese lay clutching his arm, blood blooming. Sergeant Gareth dragged him back, face contorted. A plasma burn seared Gareth's chest. Ben moved with practiced efficiency. Orders barked, calm amidst chaos. He assessed wounds, prioritizing. He tore Reese's sleeve, his heart sinking. Plasma. Deep, cauterized but devastating. "Pressure," Ben instructed Gareth, handing him a makeshift pad. "Hold it." He turned to Riss, his touch gentle. "Hang on, son, I've got you." He worked fast, cleaning the wound with meager supplies. Riss needed more, but Ben would give everything he had. He administered a precious painkiller. The fighting raged. The Xylos, chitinous and relentless, scuttled forward, plasma rifles spitting. Humans fought back with savage desperation, their rifles roaring defiance. Ben felt a surge of fierce pride. These men, exhausted, wounded, terrified, held the line. They fought for each other, for the sliver of hope he represented. He saw Private Owen, face smeared with grime and blood, his rifle a steady pulse of light. Owen had broken down after losing his brother last week. Now, only grim resolve. Ben's steady focus, his calm in the storm, was a beacon. No panic, no hesitation. He did his job, tending wounds, offering comfort. A reminder they weren't alone. As the fighting waned, leaving more wounded, Ben returned to the makeshift med bay, body aching, mind numb. Kalen was weaker, his breathing ragged. "How are you, Sarge?" Ben asked softly. Kalen managed a weak smile. "Still here, Doc. Thanks to you." Ben checked his vitals, his heart heavy. Oxygen almost gone. One small reserve tank left, maybe an hour. Save it, or give it to Kalen, fading fast. He looked at the sergeant, a man of 20 years, a protector of his men. Ben knew. He connected the reserve tank, the hiss, a fragile whisper of hope. Kalen closed his eyes, a sigh escaping his lips. "Rest, Sarge," Ben said, his hand on Kalen's shoulder. "You've earned it." The odds were impossible. The Zywas would return, supplies would vanish. But looking at the wounded, pain etched on their faces, but defiance flickering in their eyes, a powerful feeling surged through Ben. Not hope, but something deeper. The unyielding resilience of the human spirit, the refusal to break, the capacity for compassion in the face of utter despair. He was one man, a medic with nothing left, the weight of the world on his shoulders. But he would keep going. He would keep tending to them, keeping them alive, body and spirit. He would be their strength. Because even in the deepest darkness the human heart could endure, could fight, could care. And that, Ben knew, was a weapon the Xylos could never truly conquer. The faint hiss of oxygen filled the silence, a testament to human resilience, fueled by the quiet compassion of the last medic.